Greetings, dear listeners. We are back again. Thank you for tuning in. We are back again to talk about resilience, the ability to withstand everything that comes your way in your life. It could be a challenge, it could be anything that you can think about. Especially, we normally apply resilience in things that are tough than normal. In times where we have to wait, sometimes we have to wait for answers that we've been waiting and praying for, things that we have been believing for. And sometimes you would have worked hard for certain things, but to see the result may take a long time. Sometimes you may have a dream that you are pursuing, and you apply everything it may take for that dream to come true. But after having applied everything, you find that the result take a very long time, or that dream takes time to mature for you to see returns. And that is where we apply resilience. Resilience actually is a good thing that every one of us needs to have. Resilience is not that different from perseverance. We know that when you persevere, at the end of it all, you will reap good results. It will show that you waited, and you waited for something good. Most of the precious and great things are things that those who attain them waited for them. So life is not necessarily every time about getting everything right now when you need it right here. But certain things that will last long, also you need to wait and be patient, to persevere. Sometimes you'll be going over and over the same thing, trying to reach your goal, but you don't seem to be getting there. You persevere. You are resilient. You are determined to see to it that your goal is achieved. And the last time we did talk about the fact that we should always remember that there is no test that befalls us that has not befallen any other people around us, far and near. There are people who have gone through almost the same thing that you are going through right now. And the goodness is that we discovered that every challenge that comes your way is not above what you can take. But before a challenge comes to you, it is weighed against your strength, is against your ability. So whatever challenge comes, remember this one thing, that I am able enough to overcome or to win in this challenge. I am able to come out victorious in this challenge. Because as we read the scripture in 1 Corinthians the last time, we realized that it is said that there will be no test that is above our one's strength. So whatever test that comes, it is weighed and tested against the ability that you've already attained. And when we have positive mindset, we are able not to ask the questions, why me? Why did it happen to me? But instead, we would actually ask, what must I do in this kind of challenge? How can I work it out? And the moment you start asking, what can I do? How can I tackle it? And you wait to hear the answer from within, you find that there is an answer for you to maneuver in that kind of situation. And when you follow the instruction that you are given, you find that you will be able to pull through. And when you pull through, you will not, whatever the challenge may be, it will not break you, but it will make you. So it is important that we always have a good mindset, a positive mindset, knowing that whatever comes my way, it has not come to destroy me. It has not come to defeat me, but I am well able to work it out. I am well able to defeat it. I am well able to make it through. I am well able to win in this situation. So every day of our lives, we must be able to wake up positively and thinking that there are great opportunities awaiting us. And with these great opportunities, also there will be challenges that we will be facing. But at the end of it all, we have already been tested and seen that we are able to handle that which is coming. So we must always remember that within us there is a potential, a greater potential that we will never come to understand unless there is a test. Many times we do not like to talk about tests. We like to talk about blessings. And the thing is, blessings are wonderful. And we all wait for blessings. But also in challenges, there are blessings. When you are able to look at a challenge positively, you find a blessing through a challenge. Because there is this one thing that a challenge would do, or a test that will do to us. It comes to us to test. It may be coming here to test our faith. It may be coming here to test our stability in what we believe. It may come there to test us, or to also push us forward, because sometimes when there is no test going around, there will be no need for us to improve. So one of the things that a challenge or a test will do to help us is to first check out, what do we really know? How much can we take? You can never know how much you can handle unless there has been a test to test that out of you. So when a test comes and you receive it positively, and knowing that you have the ability to withstand it, you will then see at the end of the test, when you have won the test, when you passed the test, that I never knew I could manage that. Sometimes I think in our lives we even it can look back and wonder, how did I make it in that situation? Sometimes you may not even remember how you made it, but you can remember how tough it was, how tough that situation was, and day after day you were working out in that situation, and it was finally solved. You may not necessarily remember every step that you took, but you find that you did cross that bridge that needed to be crossed. So a test also comes to actually make us discover the potential that is within us, the potential that we already have been given, or the potential that we have grown up to. So when there is no challenge to challenge that potential that is already within you, you may stay the same person with no progress. You may feel very comfortable, and when you are comfortable, there's no need to try new avenues. And so a test will come, it will be like an eye opener that, oh, yes, you can do this, but do you know that you can even do more? So a test is also there to enlighten you, to show you that as much as you have been able to do certain things in a good way, or in the best way you can think, but there is also something bigger inside you that will enable you to do things even better, even greater. So when we have tests, we do not feel we do not feel like we have reached the ultimate potential, but we realize there are still things that I need to learn in my life. There are still things I need to know how to handle. There are greater things that I still need to achieve. I remember as I am speaking, I'm just thinking of Joshua. Joshua was sent to carry on with the duty of Moses, his master. And when Moses had died, he had to continue the journey so that the children of Israel could possess the land that the Father had promised them. And wherever they went, they were conquering. But maybe Joshua would have never known how much potential he had as long as Moses was alive. Yes, he prayed with Moses. He did things with Moses. He knew Moses believed so much in the Father and was taking instruction from him. But it was not his responsibility to really lead the people. And when Moses was taken away, Joshua had to continue. And we hear the Father telling him, "Do not fear, for I will be with you as I was with my servant Moses." Which means him telling him first not to fear. He was encouraging, strengthening him, saying, "Look, I will not leave you alone. I will be with you. I know in your mind you may be thinking that I can't handle this. Moses was doing it better, but now it is your turn." So he says, "Be strong and courageous and do whatsoever I tell you. And as you do everything I tell you, you shall surely succeed in everything you do." So it was a challenge for Joshua to have lost Moses, who was leading him. He was just following after Moses, but now it was him in the forefront. So now that challenge of Moses being removed from the scene, and also that challenge of being the one who will lead now these people who were even rebellious so many times, he would have never known he had such a potential of leadership. And not just that, as he continued to listen, and instead of running away from this responsibility, he accepted it and he started moving forward one day at a time, listening to the Father, what it is instructing him to do, as tough as it was, but he had to continue. And when you look at the fact that after they had possessed the land, towards the end of that book, you see now the wars had ceased. Israel had possessed the land, and things were calm. And when Joshua was also feeling, finally, we have arrived here, there was a word again from the Father, from the Heavenly Father. He said, "Joshua, come outside and look out there as far as your eyes can see. And when Joshua looked as far as his eyes can see, even the scriptures tell us at that time he was old, he was of age, and his eyesight wasn't at its best anymore. But he was told this one thing, that you see, as far as your eyes can see, that land is still land for you to possess. So you see, Joshua could have just settled and enjoyed the victory that they had, and it thought that now everything has been accomplished. But that was another challenge. There is still more land to be possessed. At his age, there was still more land to be possessed. And in our lives as well, sometimes when we get to this point where we feel comfortable, we do need a challenge that will enable us to realize, that's not it. That's not all. There is still more that you can achieve. There is still more that you can do. There is still more that you can do. Inside you, there is still a greater potential. So a challenge is not just to make you feel uncomfortable without results, but it comes with a result, and a good result. It will enable you to know that there is a greater potential within you. So resilience, my friends, is very important, because it is through resilience where we can progress and really be great achievers in life. Be it physical, be it material, it could be spiritual, all those areas. Even if you feel like, now I have found it, now I'm at my best, there is still the best of the best that you can still do. So, and I think you can also notice we can notice in our own lives that sometimes when we have a problem, we think of new ways in which we can do things, because the situation comes to shake what we know, and then we have to find better ways on how to work out in our lives. So a challenge also come with many things that we can do that we were never aware that we could do. It also exposes us to information that we never needed because we were not in that situation before. But once that information, that knowledge has been exposed to us, we become more enlightened. We become better people, and we can handle more things than before. And that is why also in the school, when you are in a certain grade, you are tested according to that grade. But there is no need to be kept in that same grade when you have passed the test. So the same as the tests of life, once we have conquered and passed a particular test, we are already ready to move to another level. And that next level we are going to move into, there will be tests in that level as well, so that we can move yet to another greater level. It could be prayer. You may find that you've been praying, you had a certain way of praying, and you have been getting answers. And at a certain point, you just feel like there are bigger things that you need to pray for, but it seems like you really don't know how you can tackle those situations. But because you are in this new situation and you are seeking of how can I pray best, how can I do it better, then you will find the answer. And as you find the answer, you are becoming a better person than the one who was on conquering those minor challenges. Now you are able to conquer bigger challenges. And it goes on, and you become someone who can achieve anything. I think in the scriptures, again in the book of James, it says, when patience has finished its work, then we shall be lacking nothing. Meaning, whatever can come your way, you will be able to handle. How will you be able to handle? Because over and over and over, you have been conquering one. It was one situation after the other. You've just, instead of giving up, instead of asking, why me? Instead of saying, what have I done? You are saying, what can I do? And you are helped and given the answers. Remember, the Father says, I will help you. I will hold you with my righteous right hand. So he will never leave you nor forsake you. As you go through a challenge, he is right there to be instructing you. Now this is what you can do. So as we go through a situation, we must also hear. We must have our ears of the Spirit open so that we can hear what is it that we must do in that situation. And in Proverbs 8, the word says, wisdom stands and he's calling. Those who need wisdom must come. So there is wisdom available for everyone who is willing to ask and seek for wisdom. And now, as you are resilient, you are also transforming, you are changing, you are becoming better and better. And at the end of the day, you find that you are able to handle bigger things than you were able to handle before. So, my friends, let us not be bitter about situations that come to us. Many of these situations, we never ask for them. We just find ourselves in them. And what we need to do is to come out victorious in those situations. And again, as we have just said, that these situations are there to enable us to grow, to enable us to be better people than we have been. They are there to enlighten us, to show us how much potential we have. And if you look at the story of David, before the time where he found Goliath taunting the children of Israel by the valley, he had lived a life of fighting bears and lions. And he could have just thought, why am I the one who is looking after the sheep anyway? Why? But instead, when a lion came to try and snatch the sheep, he found ways of how to fight. He went right to the lion. And we remember in that story, he said he pulled its jaws. And even when the bear attacked the sheep, he fought the bear and took away the sheep from the bear. So that those things that were happening to him while he was looking after the sheep in the field were preparing him to be king, because when you are king, there are so many challenges that you face. You deal with people who are stubborn and rebellious sometimes, and you have to know how to stand your ground. So now when he saw Goliath taunting, intimidating the children of Israel. He could not be intimidated because he thought to himself, the Father who protected me from a lion and a bear cannot fail to protect me from this uncircumcised Philistine. So he went straight for the Philistine. And didn't he conquer him? He did. Why? Because he knew that Goliath wouldn't have been taunting the Israel if they were not able to defeat him. So, but they were not thinking in those lines. They had forgotten how much the Father had been helping them to conquer every situation or every nation. Now there was just one man standing before them, and they were shaking and trembling because they forgot how much he had conquered for them before. David did not forget that. So it is also important for our resilience to remember the conditions, the situations, the tough situations that we have faced before and we have overcome. Always remember that he did this for me yesterday. He cannot fail to do it for me today. He has not set me for failure, but he has set me for victory. Remember, we are more than conquerors. Then let us face every situation knowing that greater is he who is in us than he that is in the world. And this should apply in everyday life, not just to certain situation, but every day I must remember that I am more than a conqueror, and he who is in me is greater than he that is outside me. It's the one that can actually cause us defeat is ourselves, not the people outside. David, he conquered Goliath from within first before even facing him. He told himself, who is this uncircumcised Philistine? So he knew his right, that the circumcised cannot be defeated by the uncircumcised. And because they were told that. And so he held on to that. And he started counting. He saw me through the bears. He saw me through the lion. Who is this uncircumcised Philistine? He can also be conquered. So in our daily lives, let us know that there is a greater potential within us. And on top of that, he has said he will not leave us alone, but he will leave us with the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, who will be there to instruct us and to teach us all things, and also remind us of what he has taught us. So as we walk in this path, let us remember that we are not alone, but we have the Spirit on our side and within us, who is now our instructor, who is our guide, who is the one who will enable us to conquer. So resilience is what will make us to achieve even more than what we have seen, more than what we have achieved before, greater things than we have ever thought. So when we are positive about a challenge, it will help us handle it properly. Remember, be still and know that he is Elohim. He is with you. He will be with you. He will never leave you. He will never forsake you. But he will be with you to the very end of the age. And he has wonderful thoughts about you and me. He doesn't mean to harm us, but he knows that whatsoever comes our way, we are already ready to face it and conquer it. So let us hold on. Let us be resilient, and it will pay off. I remember a story of a young man who was crossing a river, and the floods came quickly after a heavy rain. And when he was in the middle of the river crossing, when the floods came, they swept him. And as they swept him, he saw a branch of a tree that had broken in, was hanging over the river. And because the river was so full, it was hanging low. So he held on to that branch, and he held on for a very long time. And when he's telling his story, he says his muscles, his body was aching, it was burning, and he was almost letting go. But whenever he looked down at the water, he saw, if I let go now, this will be the end of me. And he waited until the water went down, while he was holding up there for hours. So the following day, he was able to cross the river because the floods the water had gone down. And when he went to hospital, he was in severe pain because his muscles had overworked. But didn't he win the battle? He won the battle. And mind you, he was not alone. He was holding on the branch with some people that he was crossing with. I think there were about 3 of them. But the others, at a certain point, they just gave up. And indeed, that was the end of them. Yet, when he held on, he was able to go through that situation. Yes, with pain, but good results. So know that when your resilience will pay off. Whatsoever you desire to do, there will be challenges while you work towards your goal. But hold on, do not give up, be resilient until you see the reward, until you reach the goal that you desire. Until next time, my friends, that is what I have to share. Just continue conquering, being resilient, being perseverant in everything that you are going through. Know that the potential is within.